Now, I kind of think that emojis are mostly cringe to begin with, but I'm not quite taking it as far as some Gen Zers are. I don't know, maybe kind of potentially. Like, I'm under the assumption that Gen Z, I've heard this a couple of different times, and that's kind of why I wanted to do this video right here, because I wanted to delve into that assumption that Gen Z is the most conservative generation since the silent generation. I don't really know if that's true because I've seen some of the stuff that they do. It's kind of funny. It's kind of based. And then on the other side, well, it takes those turbo feminists of the early 2000s and supercharges them, puts them on all of the pills, all the SSRIs, and just is finely tuned for the TikTok generation. So we'll see where we land on this. But first and foremost, thumbs up is racist or some shit like that. I don't know. Gen Z canceled the hostile thumbs up emoji and wants to ban these 9 others. Oh my god. And it's like, okay, I'm one of those weird guys, I know, right? Big shock when it comes to this stuff. But I grew up, okay, my childhood was completely offline. I was born March of 1990, okay? So I got to see the best of both worlds, okay? I was born in an analog generation, and I grew up and, well, right now kind of completely thrive, like, you know, all of this stuff in a digital era. So I got to see the gestation and the creation of emojis back in the day when it just used to be, you know, like a colon and then just an end bracket. Crying, you'd put the colon and then a little comma and then the end bracket. And the O face would be what happens if a date was successful. Anyways, but that was the stuff that you had to do when you had simply a flip phone, okay? Like, that was the first thing that was that the first phone that I had? It was a little silver Motorola or some goofy shit like that with, you could pick the color that was on the front of it. I had a black one because edgy and shit like that, right? But I think my first smartphone, I think it was a Samsung Galaxy. Kind of kept that tradition going forward, so I think that they make fairly fine devices. I don't even know what the fuck mine is at this point. It's a few years old. I could probably go out there and get a new one. It's like, whatever. I don't really care because phones are fucking garbage and they haven't really evolved all that much. But the little innovations that are on there, it's mostly done in order to hook the younger generations. And that's the way that marketing always works, okay? They always want a younger fan base. They're always aiming at the youngest demographic that they can ethically market to, okay? Because they want lifelong consumers, okay? If they get you when you're 18, they'll hopefully still have you and they'll hopefully still be around in some form or fashion when you're 80. And then they can get their kids and all that type of goofy stuff as well. So I always have that in the back of my mind whenever I see an article like this. We're canceling certain emojis. Okay, cool. Why? Gen Zers are being called out. They are being called out. The popular thumbs up emoji for being rude and hostile. Why? Even saying they feel attacked whenever they see it used in the workplace. Oh my god. Why do you see emojis in the workplace? No inter-office documents should be using emojis. I wouldn't normally find them there. Unless you got like some kind of a boomer manager that likes to unironically put up pictures of emojis, because there's nothing worse than that. That's just printing out memes is about peak rainbow F slur behavior. Anyways, after a Reddit poster, of course this came off of Reddit. That's why I'm a little skeptical when it comes to this stuff, because intellectualism goes to die on Reddit. Like so many other teenage titties. Oh, it's a degenerate place of fucking absolute nonsense. Poster commented, or confessed to being not adult enough to be comfortable with the thumbs up emoji reaction. But yet you're comfortable enough making that announcement? Wow. What does your wife's boyfriend think about that bold statement that you just made? Others chimed in to agree and call out other common emojis such as the red heart. Yeah, because nobody loves people who use Reddit obsessively. For younger people, the thumbs up emoji is used to be really passive aggressive. I thought the passive aggressive emoji was the eye rolling one. Maybe I'm really out of the fucking loop on this type of stuff. For younger people, the thumbs up emoji is used to be really passive aggressive. A 24-year-old Reddit user wrote, "Was that 2 Reddit users just typing on the same account? Like, what are we doing here? It's super rude if someone just sends you a thumbs up," they added. So I also had a weird time adjusting because my workplace is the same. I filed a human resources complaint and got everybody in my department fired, and now I'm the manager and nobody uses emojis or has fun. Older workers appeared flummoxed by the reaction. Nothing surprises me at this point, been on the internet for too long. Noting that they use thumbs up in work-related chats and signals. Yeah, I do this all the time, okay, but that's also triggering, and so is that. So, I approve, or I understand, and will obey. Yeah, but this shit is on Reddit, okay? These motherfuckers find sunlight offensive, so who cares what they have to say? Part of the issue is that young people tend to use thumbs up in jest. Yeah, like when you hear somebody saying, oh yes, I like to use Reddit all the time. Cool story, bro. I only use it sarcastically, though sometimes I'm not even sure if the irony comes across. Sarcastic. I totally believe that this is a legitimate post on Reddit because nobody could be this autistic in real life. So this motherfucker has to wear dark t-shirts around his mother because he's so autistic and can't hold a conversation with family members. It's a big struggle to go upstairs and get chicken nuggies and engage in small talk. He said he only used to communicate with boomers like his parents or older colleagues. Yes, his boomer parents from Gen X who facilitated and welcomed in all of this political correctness, and now it's manifesting with their shitty fucking kids. One anonymous office worker chalked it up to general communication culture differences. Yeah, because you can't yell at the people who are, oh my god, I'm so triggered by emojis. You can't call them what you want to call them. Starts with an F and ends with an ag. Everyone my age in the office doesn't do it, but the Gen X people always do it, they wrote. Took me a bit to adjust and get it out of my head. That means that they're mad at me. Comport to my reality, or I'm talking to the manager. This is the next generation. At least if anybody's using Reddit out there, which is another reason Reddit is cancer and you should never use it. Others complained that it comes across as dismissive. One Reddit user noted that the thumbs up actually means I've read your message and has nothing to add to it, and I hope and pray all the bazillion people in this group chat have nothing to say on it. Yeah, if I even bothered pulling up this Reddit thread, it would mostly involve, my internet history getting roped in with a bunch of groomers that'll eventually get investigated by a proper reformed FBI, so I'll just go ahead and not do that, okay? Instead, Gen Zers said that they preferred a typed out response. Okay, we're people, and we have words to use. Kim Law. Bitch, your name is 6 letters long, okay? It doesn't take that long to type out your entire name. If I'm to use my entire proper name, I don't even know off the top of my head how many fucking letters it is. I know my first name is 6 letters and my last name is 7. Oh, I guess I could easily figure that out. 6, 6, 7. Okay, so 6, 12, 21, 19, something like that. I think so. I got to run 19. We're people and we have words to use. Yes, that's nice. If I took the time out to write a thoughtful message, then you shouldn't be responding back with the bare minimum. Fix it and write something real back. Oh shit, girl, you got it right there. Yay, just a nice soft clap for her. Don't wanna excite her too much, Kim Law. Several Reddit users agreed with the decision to cancel the emojis. Yeah, of course, but you're also not allowed to say groomer on Reddit, so they kind of have a history of canceling things. What else are they also going to be trying to get rid of as well? Survey of 2,000 people conducted by Perspectus Global. Could you not poll literally anything else more exciting in the world? Then a majority of people between the ages of 16 and 29. Yeah, we asked a lot of 16-year-olds. That's pushing it for age limits. That you are officially old if you use the thumbs up and heart emojis. I just don't like the emojis to begin with. I think they're all fucking lame. So the canceled emojis, the top 10. Thumbs up emoji, red heart, okay hand. Yes, because that's basically white supremacy. You want to kill all minorities if you use the okay hand signal. The check mark, okay. Poo, yeah, it's overused. Loud crying face. Monkey covering eyes. That's a racism. Clapping hands. I see that all the time on Twitter. It's the fucking AIDS. Lipstick kiss mark. Yeah, because not all people who wear lipstick kiss, and not all people that kiss wear lipstick. So you gotta be more inclusive. This is Reddit after all. And the grimacing face. Yeah, mostly that's the face of everybody who read this article or contributed to that Reddit post would see at the end of it. And it's like, oh fuck, we're advocating for this shit. So it begs the question, right? Maybe it's just Reddit users, because that's kind of a subsection of humanity that should go against the wall. But maybe it speaks to Generation Z, Zoomers, whatever the fuck you want to call these degenerates on the come up. Are they more or less conservative? Are they more based in reality, or are they just going to continue to spiral out like some of the more radical particulars of, specifically, unfortunately, my generation? Because I'm right smack dab in the middle of the millennial generation, being born in 1990 and all that. But you guys, if you've been around the channel, know that I'm not like my contemporaries. I'd be somewhere in the 1700s. So what was the generation called then? Probably got a hard R at the end of it. I don't know. Every few months, I hear about some study claiming that Generation Z is either more conservative or less conservative than previous generations. So, what is going on with 14 to 22-year-olds? It all depends on which author, who is actually talking about Gen Z, where they want to draw the line, because I've seen, and if you take a look at the Pew study itself, if you take a look at some of the Gallup polls that are out there on all this stuff, this is just a nice little editorial breaking down all of the numbers that are out there. The way that they segment generations, 15-year blocks, you have Gen X is allegedly 70 to 85, and then 86, or what was the way that they ran it? Like 96 to 81. Those were millennials, everybody up into the future from 96 all the way through. Fuck it, I'm going to end up, blowing my brains out if I can't quite remember all that stuff. See, there it is. Okay, right there. Generation Z, born after 96. Millennials, 81 to 96. Okay, 65 to 80 is Gen X, the baby boomers. There we go. 46 to 64. Silent generation, based as a motherfucker, 28 to 45. But I can't give them too much credit because, again, they kind of birthed the baby boomers, and they're to blame for a lot of this shit. So them being so silent led to a lot of radical shit going on and developing a bunch of fucking world-changing devices. Well, for every atomic bomb that's out there, there's also the birth control pill. So I'd argue that the nuke has done less damage, but that's another conversation for another day. First of all, Gen Z is mostly teenagers. Yeah, well, it won't always be like that. So many of them have not fully formed their political views, so it's we don't know enough about the issues that they have a real opinion on. I should know. When I was in high school, I ignored politics because it was something my brothers were into. Of course, Rachel Alexander, right? And she's probably now all of a sudden, I'm just big into politics now. I bought all the sundresses and all the big floppy straw hats that are out there, and yay, I'm a big Trump girl. Of course, I still began forming a strong conservative foundation by reading every issue of National Review cover to cover. Yes, I'm a real trad girl. Fuck off. According to a comprehensive polling from Pew Research Center. Okay, if you like that little graph that I showed, that was the link that I clicked. Obviously, this article will be linked in the description, and you can just follow through wherever you'd like if you think that I missed anything. Pew Research Center says that Gen Z is trending to the left on certain issues. We've got to give that caveat. Their views mirror those of millennials. Sorry to hear about that. A conservative magazine commentary warns Gen Z is a liberal tsunami. They believe in even higher numbers than millennials that government should do more to solve problems, 70%. Only 30% approve of Trump's job performance, barely more than millennials at 29%. In contrast, 38% of Gen X approves of his performance, 43% of boomers, and 54% of the silent generation. They're kind of missing something in here as well. Well, let's see if they get to that. When it comes to climate change, Gen Z is very similar to millennials, and that's not much difference from Gen X. So over 50% of Gen Z and millennials believe the Earth is getting warmer due to human activity. Gen X isn't far behind, with 48% believing that. Yeah, more people believe that the Earth is warming. About how many due to human activity? Half of them. Oh, okay, cool. So where's the other half? Okay, cool. See how it's selected issues that are on here? It's interesting. Gen Z is also very similar to millennials when it comes to how great they think the United States is. 14% think that it's the greatest country in the world. 13% to millennials, but millennials, they don't matter. Anyways, in contrast, 20% of Gen X, 30% of boomers, 45% of the silent generations. Pew also muddles their polls with artificial questions and breakdowns. They love splitting evangelicals between white and non-white evangelicals. Which is ridiculous since it's not that far apart and stoking racial flames. Yeah. But again, there's a fly-by-night conservative thought. I read all of Nash. Shut up. The poll asked whether more racial ethnic diversity is good for society. Gen Z and millennials both said yes at higher percentages than older generations. Yeah, you're not breaking all this stuff down. It's almost like you're trying to lead people in a certain direction. We'll go through the actual numbers after this. Harris Poll took a survey on behalf of LGBTQ advocacy group GLAAD and found the percentage of young people who are comfortable interacting with LGB, I think they got that wrong. It should be whatever TQ people dropped from 53% in 2017 to 45% in 2018. Further down from 63% in 2016. It's almost like they're almost like a purple-pilled generation when everything's all said and done. What do I mean by that? They're still very much in the matrix on certain issues, but then on other things, like especially you can see right there, okay? The more pressing the whole gay issues are being foisted upon these kids, the less they're comfortable with all this stuff. And now that we take a look at some more of the numbers, they'll become incredibly important. Hispanic Heritage Foundation found that 8 out of 10 Gen Zers identify as fiscal conservatives. I'm fiscally conservative, but socially liberal. What does that mean? I like what I like and I don't what I don't. Cool insight. While only 18% of millennials attended church, 41% of Gen Z does. Interesting. Well, we can also take a look at what the church is promoting in today's day and age, and when they're not too busy, at just donning rainbow-colored robes, they're trying to argue for abortion from a Catholic perspective. If you want to go to church, go to mosque. At least they're still based. Of course, that could be due to the part that Gen Z is still living with their parents. Yeah, but millennials are giving birth to these kids, okay? And Gen X is also giving birth to those kids, and they ain't going to church at the same clip. So who's taking these kids to church? Almost half believe it has no effect on society, while another third believe it has bad effect. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, when it comes to Gen Z's view of single mothers raising kids similarly to the older generations, half believe no effect, third believe it has a bad effect. Some of these kids are waking up, mostly because what's the old statistic that's out there? 40% of kids in today's day and age are being born and raised in a single mother household. And how many of those? A third of the kids think that it's a bad effect. Okay, cool. Global consultancy firm The Guild found that Gen Z is 10 times more likely than millennials to dislike tattoos and piercings. See? There's some hope out there, okay? When it comes to big policy decisions or stupid things about where you spend your Sundays, we can disagree on that type of stuff. But when it comes to tattoos and piercings and their overwhelming dislike of it, I love it. I love it so much because nothing ruins. But it's also simultaneously, okay, one of those things where it's like just an immediate red flag so that I know where to put a girl or which category to take her seriously into. Then random ass knacker tattoos or fucking body piercings. The hoops belong in your ears, ladies, okay? They don't belong anywhere else. Nose piercings, a huge turnoff, especially that stupid septum piercing. But even if you got one on the side, we all know what that means. Aim for it, or she likes the feel of the wind on that cold steel while you're hanging her out the window. Anyways, it makes sense that Gen Z is turning out liberal. Are they really, though? Are they really? Because I got a bone to pick on this one, okay, for a second. Because when you get them to self-identify, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. It also plays into the fact that most people are just a default Democrat. Oh, they're the good guys, okay? They're the ones that had the first black president, and Bill Clinton was pretty cool, huh? Like, come on now, kids. That's society pushing you in a certain direction, and you're really too young to form your more concrete political positions, but I understand, okay? Well, they are young. This is going back to the Pew Research, okay? Whether you're young and their political views might not be fully formed, there are signs that those in Generation Z who identify as Republicans or lean to the Republican Party diverge somewhat from older Republicans, even millennials, in their views on several key issues. These same generational divides are not the same apparent among Democrats. Their views on race relations, Gen Z Republicans are far more likely than older Republicans to say that blacks are treated less fairly than whites. Yeah, because they're being indoctrinated in the classrooms. Because you take a look right there, okay, they got the bar breakdown right there, 43% of self-identifying, And we'll get into the details of this whole self-identifying, being Republican, being in the school system at this point, because remember, these kids, at the earliest, they were born 1996. Okay, so that would put them at what, 16 years old? Or 26 at the oldest, right? But the uniformity of the rest, okay, of the self-professed Democrats that are out there, shouldn't that be like maybe a little bit more shocking? I don't know. I find that interesting as well. And taking a look at some other surveys that are out there, okay, I think it would be very interesting how these Gen Z kids are getting their ideas in today's day and age. Okay, 59%, okay. The kids surveyed, Business Insider poll of more than 1,800 people between the ages of 13 and 21. The national poll was conducted with SurveyMonkey audience participant, partner Cint, okay. On behalf of Business Insider, it ran January 11th through 14th. More than half of the people surveyed said that they checked Snap, YouTube, or Instagram daily. How Gen Z finds out what's going on in the world. Social media, 59%. TV at 50. What do you mean by TV? Okay, heard from friends, 36%. Online news outlet, heard from parents, radio, and then it just drops off a cliff from there. 10% of kids are reading the newspaper. Stop the cap, all right? And then to just throw a monkey wrench into all of this stuff, okay, they found some exceptions to Gen Z becoming more liberal. Business Insider surveyed, which we were just looking at that article right there, surveyed Gen Z and found that a majority did not identify as liberal or conservative. The remaining Gen Zers were about evenly split between the right and the left. How easy is it to just come out and say that you're a Republican? You are, especially for younger people. Like, I can even remember going back into the day when I was in high school, okay, and we had our little mock political discussions. If you were even accused of being conservative, if you found yourself on the right side of any issue, you were incessantly mocked. You were labeled a lame and you were labeled a square. It didn't stop me because I have a very high level of I could give less of a fuckitude than most people. But most of these kids, especially given the fact that they surveyed about 2,000 people, most of them were just like, I don't really identify in any given direction. It's kind of like whenever pollsters go out there and just try to poll your average Republican that's out there, they never properly capture anything. So this just throws everything into the works. So ultimately, at the end of the day, of the forthright and honest Gen Zers that are out there, what are we expecting? Well, kind of the same way that society is just kind of shifting. But on some things, they're really starting to get woken up to the nonsense that's out there. Is it going to be another conservative revolution? Never has been, never will be. But there could be a course correction into the future. Gen Z, it could be at the forefront of that, because millennials, far fucking abdicated all that shit. Same with Gen X, fuck all of them. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.